Today we're tackling the rolling no-name. This is a maneuver where we intentionally make the plane roll out of its longitudinal axis and the tail follows a spiral-like path. The most common variation of this maneuver is performed as a 45-degree downline, and that is exactly what we will focus on in this video. The reason? Well, in this maneuver, compensating for altitude loss, which occurs during the spiral, can be pretty challenging, although still possible. Additionally, in my experience, when the plane is in that 45-degree downline, this maneuver presents better to the viewers, as the trajectory is closer to head-on towards the pilot and crowd, and the tail spiral is more obvious to the eyes. Personally, I love executing the rolling no-name at either end of the aerobatic box, starting high and descending into the center of the runway. It adds a nice transition from high-speed precision or extreme aerobatics to low and slow action. The way I think about the stick movements is as a hybrid between the typical rolling stir and the beginning of a regular no-name maneuver. In a typical rolling stir, used in rolling harriers or rifle rolls, we're always pointing rudder and elevator towards the sky, in order to keep the nose up and avoid losing altitude. In a no-name, we combine down elevator with rudder and ailerons in the same direction to make the plane's tail follow a spiral path, before catching the plane with up elevator. In the rolling no-name, we keep switching back and forth between the traditional rolling stir and the initial no-name input to achieve a recurrent spiral motion. I admit, this maneuver can be tricky to learn. Many pilots are comfortable with the typical rolling stir, but this is a departure from that. In the rolling no-name, everything happens very quickly, and the timing of the inputs is critical. Otherwise, the maneuver quickly falls apart. Let's break it down step by step, starting with good altitude and medium speed, in this case on the pilot's right. I usually leave the throttle at around 50 to 60% and don't move it from there. I like to kick off my rolling no-names with a regular snap roll, but any maneuver that gets the plane rolling will work. Initially, I use standard rolling inputs, in this case, left aileron, right rudder, and down elevator. My visual cue for moving the sticks into the no-name position is when the plane is just past inverted. I keep the sticks in this position until the canopy faces up. Then I briefly switch to up elevator and opposite rudder, basically trying to avoid the nose from going down. As soon as the plane goes past inverted again, we're back to no-name inputs. This is one of those maneuvers where muscle memory comes into play, and using a simulator can significantly speed up the learning process. Start with reduced physics speed to get used to the visual cues. If you get this right in the simulator, you will not have any issues performing it in real life with a competent 3D aerobatic plane. The exit on this one is easy. You can simply neutralize the sticks when the plane is upright and continue normal flight, or get fancy and exit on inverted or knife edge. Because I usually end this maneuver close to the ground, I like to transition straight into rolling harrier. For that, I simply permanently switch to the rolling stir and make my inputs deeper to slow down the plane, and start controlling the altitude with throttle. I hope this tutorial was useful. Let me know if you have any other maneuvers you are interested in learning about, and see you in the next one.